The topic is interesting, winning in an AI-first, creator-led and data-driven world, very future relevant. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you to our MC for wonderful hosting and anchoring. Thank you for the amazing audience. I hope we don't fall asleep. The intent is to make it a non-sleepy discussion. So we'll avoid keeping boring stuff out. See, first of all, thanks to everybody who's on this panel. It's just that unfortunately Ankit, Shweta and Vikram were not able to make it. But nevertheless, we both are here. Thank you, Gaurav, for being on this discussion.
Not a problem.
And we'll also find out a way to have somebody on stage as well during the discussion and see, take a different perspective as well on this, because a lot is happening in the creator-led, data-driven and AI-first world. See, marketing as a subject, 20 years, and we both have spent considerable time in this ecosystem. It has changed leaps and bounds with respect to how things are happening. I mean, conceptually, creative thinking has evolved, but the way we are doing it today has changed a lot, because probably the availability of technology and the access to information, we did not have that much maybe 20, 25 years, 30 years back. So the access to information, the democratic nature of content and the way the content is being created today, the power in the hands of users has all evolved over a period of time. Now, everything has got pros and cons. With greater power comes greater responsibility. Spider-Man, not me. But that's one of the aspects that us marketers or us as leaders have a responsibility to undertake for being future relevant. If we are not learning and applying our learnings in this space, then it's difficult for the people, the future torch bearers, to come into the space and bring in that pattern that we are trying to build. And for that, we need to keep up with the pace. And as I said, see, the challenges today are two-pronged of creator-led marketing, AI, we hear a lot of AI. So we are not going to have a debate on this, but we are going to start the discussion. I'm going to just pose, not maybe questions, but taking thoughts from Gaurav on, say, Gaurav, in the next 2 to 3 years, from your standpoint, because considerable, almost close to 3 decades of experience, marketing from the creator-led lens, how do you see the stakeholder, as we as stakeholders, change the nature of our responsibilities or accountabilities that we have or used to have like 10 years, 15 years back? Has it changed, or if yes, what according to you has changed?
I think, Ankur, good question, interesting question, and I'm happy that you're starting with the creator question. All of us, in the last 2 months witnessed what happened in the protest, right? A very, very prime example of if creators come to it, and if they're the right set of creators we have, how can they even challenge the government? So yes, I think it's a creator-led economy today, but very pertinent, question here is that whether you are as a stakeholder focusing on the reach of a creator, or you're focusing on the quality of content. You have to be very, very mindful of the fact that when you are recruiting creators for your campaigns, as a marketing head, as a marketing team, you need to be very, very sure of the fact that the right set of creators are getting associated with the brand. There can be 3 different parameters, which we consider in our own organization, and various agencies whom we work with, we emphasize on that. First things first is the expertise. There are many, many creators who would try and dabble into multiple product lines and multiple segments. I would always go with somebody who's showing a consistency of expertise in a particular genre, because that ensures that there is enough knowledge and there is a belief from the consumer on that. That's very important. Secondly, I think that's important is not just the reach, but the quality of the reach. I am okay to have a creator whose reach is not that high, maybe somebody with 20, 30, 40,000 followers, not a million followers, but there is high engagement. If there is very, very high engagement, I'm sure that my brand would get more notice than just with the reach, because reach is only giving me impressions, but I think sale does not happen through impressions. You require engagement, you require feedback from the consumer, right? And third, I think which is very ironical, I think, for a couple of us is, I would always go for creator, somebody who's rejecting brand rather than accepting every brand.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Reason that the lesser number of brands associated with the creator, more the trust of the consumer on the creator, and that's very very important for us. Because I'm okay to follow less number of creators, work with them, but work consistently, work deeply, ensure there's enough engagement, and ensure that there is, if not exclusivity, at least there is uniqueness to it. And I think that over a period of time will ensure that a brand is seen at the right level.
No, that's interesting perspective, Gaurav. So if we take human understanding, relevance, and trust, and this is for everybody as well to think, ponder upon, and on one side we take what is going on in today's ecosystem, AI, and maybe a lot of dependency as well on the content side, on the copywriting side, on creating video side, and we have got access to that. Where do we draw a line where that, because brands still look forward to the building the brand equity, the trust, and the human understanding behind it. So where do we draw the thin line? Don't you face any difficulties in that when the pre-AI era time from here? Any particular challenges or things that you would want to share with our audience?
I think I would say that AI has made our job very very easy. First things first. However, the basics of marketing, the basics of brand building are not changing. AI is helping me churning out my campaigns much faster. Earlier I used to sit with the agencies, I used to spend a lot of time. Sometimes you have to take months to crack a campaign, and then also you're not very sure whether the campaign will succeed or not. You're just hoping for it like a movie, that it should succeed and the client should be happy, we should be happy. However, having said that, today that dipstick to understand, to create multiple scenarios, I think AI is helping us a lot. However, the basics of marketing and branding, which is storytelling, that's still with the humans. In our own company, SHRM, and short form we call it SHRM, we have a mandate called AI plus HI is equal to ROI. So AI definitely helps.
Wow.
HI is human intelligence, human ingenuity, is equal to ROI for the brand. So yes, AI is there. AI, we cannot skip it today. And in fact, I'm 100% sure all of us who are sitting here are using some or the other form of AI in our day-to-day tasks. And it's much faster. Yes, there is hallucination. Yes, there is a lot of, sometimes you feel that why is AI saying yes to everything which I'm saying? But then that's where prompt engineering and a lot of other things come in place. But storytelling is the core of marketing, and that is not changing at all. Today, whosoever is creating a better story, telling a better story, through faster AI tools, might have an edge. And that's, I think, in the last 1.5, 2 years, that's helping for us also.
Such a valid point. See, to take the tangent from here, also how we are telling that story. I think AI has helped us in versions of how a story can be told in different ways, how it can be narrated. So here on a quick question to the audience, and please don't have the fear of being judged, just please raise your hand or just try and, pick on this thought right now, that what is the thing that you're using in your daily lives AI primarily for? Like 80% of the times, what are we using AI for? Generating dash. Anyone? Anyone? Please.
Generating content.
Content. Now drill down one level. What kind of content?
Maybe content for social media, content for copies. But also at the same time, we are using some predictive AI as well. Like Mr. Gaurav said, they're also using all of these things. But the main important thing out of all of these things is that we have to keep human in the loop. That's when everything works, and then that's when our content touches the heart of the people. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Your name, please, sir.
Arvind Raina.
Arvind, thank you so much, Arvind, and congratulations to you're part of the same team, right?
Yeah, same.
Fantastic. Anybody else? Creating content for?
So I would talk about, rather than creating content, understanding using AI to really understand the effectiveness of running our campaigns. We run across the funnel, right? So understanding really, are my campaigns as effective, right? Like you mentioned, gone are the days when we were running after the impressions. Now we want to understand, even if it is top of the funnel,
Right.
what kind of audience segments that are making true difference, and what is trickling down to the engagement funnel and subsequently to the. So I think the biggest use case right now is to better understand. We were always reliant on Power BI dashboards that would come in 1 week later, and we would look at last week's report. Now AI can real time generate those signals for you to take faster decisions and really understand. I think that's where I would say it's coming in.
I think very valid point, and I want to add here, AI is also helping us with a lot of flexibility. If the
Yes.
campaign is not working, you can change it quickly,
Yes.
and you can ensure that the same thread of the campaign is not lost. The earlier campaign with certain changes, you can again tweak it and go out in the market much faster. So I think AI is not just helping in conceptualizing the campaigns, but running those campaigns, doing the predictive analysis, ensuring that the probability of success of what all of us do day in and day out is much higher because of AI. And I think in our own organization, I would say that marketing and branding teams are one of the first ones to start accepting AI.
Yeah.
Before finance, before HR, before operations, and a whole lot of other teams, they're still debating on whether a Claude is good or whether a ChatGPT is good or whether Gemini is good. We are actually using all of them at different stages of marketing, of a campaign, and that's helping us a lot.
Thank you so much for engaging. You know what's my biggest fear? When we don't get Wi-Fi. And and the Wi-Fi chala gaya, and we're like, oh, and the whole life disrupts, right? Likewise, I was thinking like few days back, what happens when suddenly all of a sudden we get a notification that no AI tools will be working for the next 48 hours on a Monday. Right? So thing to ponder on, because when I think on these lines, I always think that if we are moving on a particular path, and if this path we face an obstacle, like this is not available to us at that point of time, then what do we do? Right? So that's just a thought to ponder upon. Coming back to our discussion, Gaurav, data. Now, data has been very crucial to decision making, business decision making. It tells us what could be the possible next steps. Now, this has been a debate as well. When we talk about creator-led, also you were talking about, what all things need to be monitored when we choose a creator for that. I mean, in today's date, there are creators who can get millions of engagement or likes or comments on one particular post. So the opportunity size is big. But when we look at data, there are two parts to it. When there is a pool of data, how do you decide that what data or what insight to look at? Generally, how do we approach that vis-a-vis how we used to approach that like 10, 15 years back when big data was starting to be a buzzword? Like programmatic was starting to be a buzzword. So in this era, what is the main challenge according to you, as marketers or in the ecosystem, that where to draw the line between how to read the data?
Good question, Ankur, and again, part of our day-to-day life. One part is that all of us get, as marketers, get fascinated by data. There's so much of data that's getting generated because of the nature of our campaigns, the segments we are playing in, the cities, geographically, and so on and so forth. There's so much of data today. Are you getting fascinated by the amount of data, and hence you're feeling that, wow, as a marketer, I have so much of data to ponder upon? Or else, are you getting fascinated by the quality of your dashboards in terms of data? That wow, that there is so much of data, but we are able to segregate that data and create into multiple dashboards. I think for a marketer today, which is very important, and again, I'll refer that AI can help us a lot, is in terms of the insights from that data. Ultimately, what matters to us is a kind of strategic decisions we are able to take as marketers because of the data, the predictive analysis. That's much more important. I am really not fascinated by the amount of data in the organization or the quality of dashboards or the segregation of the data. If I'm able to cull out some insights from it which can enable my campaigns for the future, I'm more happy about that. So I think let's focus more on how the future, what future holds for us, and today you can predict that through AI to some level, and that's much more important.
No, interesting. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gaurav. In this era, if we pose a question that what according to you, which remains uniquely human, and this is again for everybody to keep thinking through. We'll, after Gaurav, shares his thoughts, we'll have this question over to you as well. In the marketing ecosystem, what still remains uniquely human? I mean, AI, let me share an instance. AI can generate headlines, visuals, it can probably read data, it can probably generate a lot of content. But what, according to us, remains still uniquely human that AI maybe can't step into, or not ready yet to step globally, at a global level maybe, as per your experience, because it's a global company. So,
I think what is very, very important for us today is to ensure that we understand our business, not just our campaigns. That AI cannot. If you throw a particular scenario at an AI and keep throwing those scenarios and keep chatting further and further and further, you would see that AI is beyond a point limited to that particular scenario. What as marketers is important for us, and that's uniquely human, is the understanding of your entire business. If you understand your business well, all parts of your business, you understand the product, you understand the product life cycle, you understand the target audience. I think that's human. The understanding of target audience, I'm not sure if AI is still able to do that for us. There are certain things which inherently over a period of time, because of our human interactions with each other in the organization, with our partners, agencies, we understand. There are certain conscious decisions about our audience and there are subconscious decisions about our audience. And I think that works well, and that's the human part of it. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the storytelling, branding, marketing, all these awards, I mean, all of you have created stories. Without a story, there is no marketing. So I think those two things are very, very inherently human. Fortunately for now, AI is not able to do that for us. In the future, if yes, then we'll figure out something else for us.
such a brilliant point Gaurav made. The understanding of the complete business is so important. As we rise up the ladder in our journeys, career journeys, it's very important to understand the complete end-to-end business. Completely agree. And the storytelling part. How well we as marketers tell the story of our brand. What do we do? Like in elevator pitches, we are taught that when I was getting a training from my mentor, that how do you explain yourself in that 30 seconds to 1 minute, like a proper elevator pitch? Like, what do you do? So there was this thing that I was watching where it was brilliantly asked a question. So if we rip off your ethnicity, your actual name, your caste, or your everything, your designation, everything from yourself, and then ask you that who are you, what do you do, what will your answer be? That's a question to ponder upon, right? So for instance, every creator, we ask, I would love to hear from a creator something very distinguished, rather than saying, hey, I just create content on, say, finance, I create content, I'm the influencer, that's it. I mean, how well we can tell the story being from, say, an influencer standpoint, or data, if it's a SaaS company or B2B SaaS company or B2B marketing, how well do you tell that story, that what do we exactly do? That, I think, would be a big differentiator in marketing without boundaries. How will we tell the story, Gaurav? I mean, excellent point. That brings me to the point that when we say marketing without boundaries, I don't know how well I believe in that or don't believe in that. I'm still thinking as I'm talking. What is your perspective? What does marketing without boundaries actually mean or connote?
I think marketing without boundaries mean that when you're conceptualizing your campaign, then again back to basics, that's the time that you should not have boundaries in your mind. You know, let the thoughts be free flow. Let it be without boundaries. There is no dearth of ideas. There are no dearth of great campaigns already existing in the market. Just go out, just check, just see, just map, just copy, in the right way. Ensure that there is enough understanding of, once you understand your product, your business, your audience, and the runway for the campaign, then it's all about, conceptualizing, and conceptualizing has to be without boundaries. AI, data, tools, all of it are very, very important. We can't, I mean, as you rightly said, if there is no Wi-Fi, I don't know what to do during the day. I would be crippled. I'm just having a coffee in my office, sitting and just thinking, what should I do? Writing a story around it. But yes, along with these tools, thinking, and that's again human, that's again boundaryless, free flow of thoughts without too many layers around it. I think that's for me is boundaryless. I'm not referring to AI and data. We all understand that. I don't need to educate anybody on that.
Excellent. Now, do we want to take a poll from to the audience that what, according to you, and we'll take three, people who can choose to answer again without the fear of being judged. Just please feel free. What is the number one challenge today in this ecosystem where we are using at the intersection of AI and data? What is the biggest challenge mostly on a day-to-day basis that you're facing? Just taking a real-time poll. Anybody, feel free. It's not.
Let's start from here.
Please, feel free. What is that biggest challenge in one sentence or one word that comes to your mind? There has to be a challenge, right? And don't tell me everything is hunky-dory. That's a good utopian situation to have, though. But please, anything that comes to your mind. While thinking, while brainstorming, or while applying something that you know, what is that one challenge that you usually face in this ecosystem where you have all the tools, but still you're facing that challenge and still you're finding it difficult to solve?
Maybe gauging what the client would want and in terms of what is the right solution which can be given. It could be data driven, or it could be emotionally driven. What is the right approach?
So what do you do then? Sorry, your name? Suyesh, yeah. Suyesh, please, what do you do then? What's your next action that you usually take with the team or yourself?
It's a brainstorming session, and of course we come out with multiple ideas and we think that what can go best. Sometimes the decision is based on insights, and sometimes it's very emotionally driven that you kind of think that this is good, and your heart says so, and basically you go with it.
And then make another call to the client that, please, the brief was not clear. Gaurav, any questions you would want to, or please, anybody else who would want to answer this? Because it's good to know challenges, right? It's good to work for solutions, so it's good to know the challenges. Real time. Please.
Maybe high expectations with the AI tools. Sometimes we are about to work on the campaign and we think that AI know everything. So sometimes we didn't put the right prompt and we didn't get the same answers, what we are expecting from our experiences. So I think AI is too new to expect everything from it, and this is the challenge.
When you face any challenge with AI and you realize that the solution which you're looking for is not coming there, then what's the next step?
Multiple times.
Okay. Do you use multiple tools as well?
Yes, we do.
Excellent. Anybody else?
Rashna, you're a creator. What
Please.
kind of a challenge you would face in a day-to-day scenario?
In an AI-first world, in terms of marketing content, AI bias, I believe, is the biggest challenge, and I can connect to what you're saying.
What do you mean by AI bias?
AI bias is, like you also said earlier, that whatever you've spoken to the AI, whatever data it has, it repeatedly brings that out. So that brings in an AI bias, with what we are doing. So you've got to be careful with that. And what you do about it is, somebody mentioned human in loop. And that is where I connected dots that, I remember him asking you that, what is that aspect where we only need humans at the moment? And that is where we need humans, where you need that creativity, your thought process, human in loop, to counter AI bias. That is how I would see it.
That's a great point.
Are you saying that when there is a bias and a human counter starts to happen, would you put counter prompts to the AI?
There are various ways of doing it, and I would say you would still have to depend on your own research. Do not be totally dependent on what AI is telling you. That is how I guess we answer that gentleman's question.
Anything from you?
So, I personally feel that, when you rely a lot on AI, you lose that emotional connect. Everything becomes very preachy, everything is just very restricted. You kind of end up blocking your own ability to think in an innovative way. And then all the outputs keep on coming the same. So there is not much room for actual innovation. So when you compare the campaigns that previously used to have, we used to have a very strong movement. They used to be very hard hitting. That is something that you don't, like, at least right now you can't get that.
Great, thank you so much everybody for engaging. It makes the session more interesting. Now, Gaurav, you're working with SHRM. I mean, I'm sure audience would love to know. I mean, one success story from the recent history of SHRM that you feel really has been impeccable with respect to data, with respect to usage of any creators, like the recent unconference that we had. I mean, any success story would you want to share with our audience from SHRM's perspective? Because globally they do brilliant stuff, I mean, all across.
Great. I'll just educate everybody what SHRM is all about. So SHRM is now a 78-year-old organization headquartered out of US. We are one of the world's largest HR membership body, an HR consulting firm. We don't do any kind of acquisition. It's hardcore consulting for businesses, and we work with almost all the Fortune 500 companies in that. And headquartered of Virginia in US. In the US, we have also one of the largest HR conferences on the planet called SHRM India Annual. It happens every year in June, and it's unarguably the largest HR conference. 27,000 people physically attended over 4 days. Outside the US, we are headquartered in Gurgaon, taking care of the entire India market, MENA region, and the entire APAC region. And we have SHRM India Annual, SHRM MENA Annual, SHRM APAC Annual, and a whole lot of other product lines we have. I think the easiest to explain right now for all of us would be where Ankur, you were also associated with, that's when we spoke about this, is Unconference. So we do every year, there's something called as the SHRM India Annual Conference. Again, one of the largest in India in terms of the HR. Everybody who's who in the HR, vouch for a SHRM. Now what happened is that we thought that how do we innovate this year? Every year is the same story, every year is the same, you would have the same theme, same logos, and so on and so forth. What do we do different this year? We said, okay, let's call our conference as Unconference. Let's do everything which is against a conference. In a conference you would visualize panel discussion, you would visualize fireside chats, you would visualize presentations, formal scenarios, if it's a marketing conference, and if it's not happening in Goa, then you are going in your suits and attending whether it's an E4M conference or an agency FAQs conference, you're very, very formal. And by the end of the day, you realize that, hey, yeah, I know all of it. What was the takeaway of that? We said, let's do an unconference. So first things first, there should not be any stage. And what we said, let's have a round, something like this kind of a elevated platform where audience is sitting all 360 degrees, and the speaker is actually talking to everybody, roaming around, not standing. Like when I was sitting here right now, I was so uncomfortable. I wanted to stand and talk to everybody. That was a big hit for us, and everything which we do in a conference is what we did not do in another conference. Our campaigns, someone really helped us in designing that campaign on a cinema feel. And because our tagline is work, worker, workplaces, and hence a better world, we said the blockbuster of work. It clicked so well with our audience. I cannot tell you the impressions, the engagement, the reach, and ultimately the success of the conference, the people attending it. It became such a big rage within the HR community that now every competition, whether direct, indirect, wants to do an conference. Today there's an HR conference happening, one of my direct biggest competitor, and I love them. They have a track called Unconference in their conference. So it's becoming a mandate. So when you start to influence the industry, when you start to change the nature of work which you do in an industry, that's the biggest success for marketing. Campaigns are great, nice, good campaign, great reach, great likes, every social post is ahead, not because of the boost, but because of the real engagement. Everything is happening in the right direction. But the best part is when the industry in which you're working, that industry recognizes, then you're part of the business. Then it's real marketing. And I think that's success. Because when marketing becomes real, marketing helps the business to grow, marketing influences the industry, is when you're in the right direction. Otherwise, it's just a campaign, that's it.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you. In the interest of time, final two questions. Gaurav, since you're in this space, then this question just came to my mind while you were talking about this. What you have seen changing in this HR space? Everybody would be interested in HR, I'm sure. Yeah? Yeah. All right. So in this HR space, holistically, in the past couple of decades, what would have changed with respect to the way we hire, with respect to how AI has been engaged in hiring? Because at your conference at the Taj, last year I saw a lot of organizations who are doing wonderful stuff with AI with respect to hiring. A few things I heard for the first time there itself. So what broadly you see has actually changed with AI with respect to the HR space, or making lives of HR people easier at L&D space?
I think the biggest, and I'm assuming everybody who's sitting in this room is from the marketing and branding and advertising side. Assuming that, believe me, same for me. All my life I've worked in the advertising and marketing. For us, HR is always been a hiring and a firing function, right? And ultimately comp and ben. Give me salary on time, that's it, right? And if there's a problem, you reach out to HR. It's only when I started working with an HR organization, and it's now more than 3 to 4 years, I realized how important HR is for an organization, and never before than today. With the onslaught of AI, technology, there's so much happening. There are geopolitical tensions, there is AI onslaught, people are getting fired across, even in the top IT technology organizations, and even the FMCGs and media organizations today, right? I don't want to name the organizations. HR has become much, much, much more important, and I think before even AI, today people are at the core of all success, whether it's a marketing team, whether it's a branding team, whether it's an operations team, or the organization per se. If you're hiring the right set of people, if you are developing them well, and if there is the right culture in the organization, that organization is bound to succeed. There is no reason. I mean, then there's obviously external factors and so on and so forth, but people are at the core of success today. And one of my mentors, I was talking to him at the airport. We were traveling for a conference, and I asked him, I said, you've been a CEO, you've been a marketer all your life in top organizations, from the top business schools. Why are you working so closely with us? What is that entices you within the HR and the people space? And you know who I'm talking about. Pat came the reply, Gaurav, that it's people. All my life, once I reached a leadership position, it was always people. So I think the role of HR today is one of the most critical. The CHRO is sitting with the CEO more than the CMO or a CFO.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if your people are in the right direction, your organization is going. Then it's all functional knowledge and capability, which I am assuming all of us have. Who in this room does not have the functional capability? All of us have that. I think it's the people part of it. And then comes AI in terms of calculating your comp and ben, benchmarking. I think AI is helping HR a lot in benchmarking, apart from processing of payrolls and so on and so forth. But yes, people are at the core of an organization, and that's what I'm proud of.
But it has definitely helped, as you say, the L&D
Yes,
and HR tools
absolutely.
definitely helps. Great. I mean, one last question, Gaurav. Thank you so much. I mean, your insights have been, I'm sure it's been useful for everybody. What is that one thing you think, from your perspective, in the next, not much, say not even 5 years, in the next 3 years, with the pace at which things are moving, every second day there is a new AI tool, we are testing it out. We are applying the knowledge. So what I feel happy about is that we are applying the knowledge on a day-to-day basis. We has, from a senior industry leader standpoint, we ourselves have to test it out as well. And this is one thing I feel is good to stay relevant in the industry. But according to you, in the next, say about 3 years, at this pace, what in marketing specifically, because marketing will get broad now, where the various aspects of marketing, specifically in the creator-led and personalization-led space, because personalization तो बहुत हो चुका है, उसमें मैं भी सोच रहा था कि और क्या होगा आगे, but in the creator-led space and personalization space, what do you think could possibly change further in the next 3 to 4 years maybe? Will it actually change leaps and bounds, or there may be micro level changes? Actually, I was thinking on these lines and I could not find what will change in personalization specifically. Creator led, yes, there were a few things on my mind, but I would love to pick your brain as well.
Interesting question and a difficult question. I really cannot predict 4 years down the line. Every 6 months or every year, there's so many changes that are happening. Even in the marketing world, we used to think that now I've reached a particular stage, I know everything about marketing. And then I realized, no, it's restarting. There's so much changing. In the creator economy, I know there's so much happening even right now. There are people who are running multiple channels in multiple segments.
Oh, yes.
And multiple industries through AI. Many a times, you think it's a real channel, it's actually the same channel. That's happening. That's difficult. Sometimes you start to believe it, sometimes you realize that, oh, no, this is completely AI. There is no, relatability to it, and there is no consumer confidence to that particular channel. So I think in the next 2 to 3 years, there will be a flurry of creators, all of us, as everybody's, somebody told me that it's a creator-led economy, and in the next few years, none of us might be working, at least in my generation, or maybe this Gen Z, they might not have day-to-day jobs. Not because they are not jobs, they don't want to work on it. Everybody wants to be a creator. Either once you retire, you want to become a creator, or you want to be a creator at the start of your career. So I think there will be a lot many creators in the next 2 to 3 years, because the churning of content through AI is easy today. You would have so much of content floating out in the market, and everybody would be having a minimum number of followers, 20,000, 30,000 followers. Here, the challenge for marketing will be to identify the right side of creators and decide with whom to work or for how long to work. How many creators would help you reach out your campaign and break the clutter, because it's going to be more and more clutter. It's a transition which we are going through, as all of us went through the Y2K when the computers came. Today it's all about AI. It's a transition which is going through, and after this transition, once it starts to settle down somewhere, the amount of data and amount of content, amount of messaging that will happen in the market will be crazy. Now, then who wins the award? How do you differentiate your campaign from so many campaigns in the market? I think that's something which we should worry about and start to think that for how genuine my story should be, and what's the shelf life of that story. I think that's important.
Distinguishing. That's going to be maybe a challenge moving forward. Thank you so much, Gaurav. It's been wonderful chatting, and we'll take some questions. If
Any
anybody
questions?
has
Feel free.
questions or thoughts, anything that comes to your mind, more than happy. Again, without the fear of being judged, please feel free to ask. It's an open forum. Anything, any thought that comes to your mind on creators or AI or
My name is Vinayak.
Hi, Vinayak.
So basically, I just have something to share.
Please do.
We were discussing about AI and the kind of challenges that people face. Now, at least I represent the creative community. I am a writer. So when a brief comes to us from a brand that you want to do a DVC, it's 30-second DVC, but the brand has already decided it has to be a AI-driven DVC. Now what it does is it restricts our mindset, because now I know I can't think of an emotional story, because AI right now won't be able to kind of execute that. Now, imagine that Hutch campaign of Irfan Khan, Kabutar Mehanga Pad Jayega, like we all remember at least. What was that campaign? Irfan Khan was just walking in the corridor, talking to the camera, but the message that he delivered in that campaign, we'll still remember it, because that was where the human part comes to it. So what at times we discuss, I don't know, because I have not been on the branding side much, like throughout my life I've been in advertising. What we
we feel at times is brands should come with open mindset. I know there are restrictions regarding the budgets and all those things, but brands should come with open mindset. Okay, we want to do this campaign. Let's crack the idea first. Let's crack the story first, and then decide that whether a AI-driven campaign will be able to do justice with, or a shoot-based, the conventional way, how we used to produce a film, that will do justice to it. So I think we should be open right now, till the briefing stage at least, and then take a call rather than, pre-deciding it. Okay, it has to be an AI campaign, or it has to be a shoot-based campaign. Yeah.
विनायक विनायक का बहुत दिल से आवाज निकली any thoughts?
No, I completely agree. And I was thinking about it when he was talking, that when we brief from our side to our partners, marketing partners, yes, you're absolutely right that sometimes there are mandates as an organization that you have to churn the campaign faster. Sometimes there are mandates on the budget. Sometimes there are mandates on the relevancy of the brand in the market. Because everybody is doing an AI, that's a check in the box that I have to be there as AI as well. But yes, you're absolutely right. Ultimately, at the end of the year, when you will sit and evaluate your entire year's performance, that's when the story comes out. And that's when, if you have marketed the human emotions well, is when there is success. AI will give you a high, but the human will give you the revenue, or a combination of both. I think. Truly said. Thanks.
That's a bonus. See, you did not ask a question, but you still got an answer.
I think I have a question for a couple of us. As you rightly said, is there any other change in the client brief because of data and AI? Anyone? Is there any change in the brief from the clients now?
I think client expects that turnaround time should be shorter now,
Yeah.
because we're using AI. But there's one thing about it is that there's FOMO running in the market.
Yeah, they
that-
all want AI campaigns,
Correct.
which might
Yeah,
not
so-
be requirement every time. I also have one question for you because
Go ahead.
what is the success you've seen which is a campaign driven by AI or by the traditional? Are you able to, like, whenever you started the campaigns through AI, is there a differentiation, effectiveness, or do you see a difference in actuals, or it's actually mostly a FOMO now that everyone to ride on it, whatever the objective of the campaign is? So sometimes most of the briefs come is, can we use AI in this?
Okay, good question, and I think it's a very, very relevant, real question in today's scenario. What I've seen in the last 2 to 3 years is that AI campaigns give me a short-term success. If the visibility or the runway for a particular campaign is 3 to 6 months, AI can help for sure. However, if it's a year-long campaign, or if the shelf life is longer, say you're not talking about a particular season, but for 2 to 3 years, and you want to stick to that positioning as a brand for the next 3 years, then AI can only help in the initial conceptualization. Then it has to be a human-led campaign. AI is helping for sure. It's a FOMO, and it's the need to churn out faster, and also I think the way everybody is moving because of the geopolitical tensions and because of AI, the revenues for within every industry are shrinking. Because the revenues are shrinking, there is more pressure on branding and marketing teams to churn out innovation, maybe at the whims and fancies of a CXO, or maybe with the FOMO of a competition doing something faster than you, or because of revenue not coming in the way it used to come. And hence, there's a demand to go out in the market faster, better, and to a larger reach, larger audience. And hence, many a times I've seen many brand managers coming and saying that, I really don't know what's the solution, so maybe I can help you. And I think that's good, because all of us are teaching so many scenarios to the AI. And AI, right, machine learning. So AI is getting taught by us. And hopefully in the next 1 to 2 years, 3 years, there should be some kind of a stabilization and maturity of AI, I think. But till then, humans are definitely there.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, ma'am. Your name? Shweta, please.
I have an extension to this question.
Please. Your name, please?
Suyash.
Suyash, yeah, please.
So is there a need to churn more content or produce more content because AI is there?
Sure.
As a brand, is there a creating more assets in the whole year. For example, I think earlier you used to have only one TVC which used to play for the entire year. Now, because the content is so cheap, or rather it's more accessible, the need or demand to create more content in a very tactical situation kind of arises. So that's
Absolutely, because if all of us, even the non-marketers, I know in a day-to-day scenario, so many such situations where non-marketing teams will come back to the marketing and say, hey, do you think we can run a superhero campaign? You will ask them, hey, why would you think so? I was talking to AI yesterday night while going back home, and I realized that for our organization, even a superhero campaign will work well. So now the problem is that because the tool called AI, which is, everybody has access to that, the amount of ideas that are getting churned out are much more than earlier. We used to take pride as marketing, advertising professionals that what I can think, the kind of copy I can write, that's my specialization. Today, sometimes you get irritated, sometimes you get fascinated, sometimes you feel happy about the ideas, but everybody has an idea today. Everybody is a marketer today. I'm not talking about the younger audience, even all of us. All of us know how to manage a social media account. Many of us managing our personal accounts, which means everybody knows social media, everybody has an idea to generate through AI, so everybody has become a marketer. Now, hence, as I always say that, look at a brand called Nike. Just Do It was created in 1980s, early 80s, right? It's still valid, it's still so relevant, not just reliable, it's even relevant today. How? Because there is a human angle to it. There's one very strong human emotion attached to it, which is just get up and do it. Just do it, that's it. So I think, yes, there is a FOMO, yes, there is a lot of accessibility of content, easy content, you can play around a lot with it. Having said that, our job as marketers and advertisers is to ensure that we explain them that marketing is not just an idea. Marketing has a lot much to it. It's also a science around it. Advertising is not just walk in the park and creating a copy. There's a lot that goes, and as they say, simplicity is above excellence. So that one copy line, washing powder Nirma, would have been so much of that would have gone into it. So many pages would have been torn before that one line would have been created. So yes, we have to be more calm. We have to explain to our audience that there is a method to madness, and that's what we all bring to the table.
Suyash, Vinayak, Shweta, thank you so much. And your name?
Abhinav.
Abhinav, thank you so much for engaging. Anyone else? Any thoughts or questions? Oh, please. Oh, this whole team. Oh, you are left. You have to ask the whole team.
Myself, Viplav. So do you think that AI has impacted the shelf life of the content, as we also remember the Coca-Cola or the Hajat, we still remember that, but we hardly any remember the recent AI-made content. So do you think it has impacted the shelf life overall?
Good question. I think yes, for sure. And as we say in our day-to-day, that we still remember the old songs of 80s, 70s, 60s, and 90s, but we don't remember what came last. It's the same thing with the content is content, whether it's about movies, songs, or advertising. There's so much of content that's getting generated, and because there's so much of less thought that going behind generation of that content, that the shelf life of the content has reduced drastically. Also, while as marketers, our job has become tougher and easier both because of AI, the world is also in a transitory mode right now. Everything is changing. Everything is changing. So because the organizations themselves are changing, the external ecosystem, the consumer requirements are changing a lot. Even today as a consumer, when washing powder Nirma was there as a campaign, I was a loyal consumer of Nirma. Today I'm not. So my demands have changed so much as a consumer. Industries are changing, countries are changing, thought processes are changing, that the content has to keep with that. So I think there is nothing wrong in that. It's just that there has to be a method to madness, and again I say the human angle has to happen. Our job is to ensure that we bring that stability to our campaigns. But yes, there will be more and more and more and more demand. And going back to your question of next 3 to 4 years, will be, imagine today with just 1 to 2 years of AI, this is happening. 5 years down the line, what will happen? So we have to be calmer, and we have to ensure that our campaigns, the shelf life of our campaigns is longer, and ultimately the consumer is engaging with us. They will not be a loyal consumer ever. The moment on-cloud shoe came, everybody has switched on from Nike to on-cloud, right? We think it's great. Many of us might not have worn our on-cloud earlier, but why do you think it's great? Because everybody's saying it's great. There is no story on that campaign. There is not a campaign around it, but it's great. So I think it's a word of the mouth, and it's a creator-led economy, which is pushing products. Let's see what happens. All of us are waiting and watching.
Oh yes. That's the biggest change that has happened from washing powder, Nirma times, and Honda and the Bajajes of the world, all the jingles that we remember. That was very linear journey, right? Only 2 or 3 touch points at the max. 3 भी शायद ज़्यादा बोल रहे हैं. अभी तो एक decision making एक complex हो गया. The marketing week quotes that, and that was 2 years back, about minimum 7 to 8 touch points in marketing. Consumer decision, and we, before marketers, we are also consumers. So we also need to think like consumers as well, many a times. But yes, I hope this discussion was fruitful and engaging for everyone. Have a nice rainy rest of the evening, and wishing everybody who has won the awards hearty congratulations once again. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Guys, cheers for Gaurav Bansal in the house.